Hello, good evening, everyone. Looks like we're ready to wind down Chapter 3 of Ace Attorney Investigations 2. It looks like Katie is our prime suspect now. She's looking pretty sus right now. Of course, there's still time for more developments to occur, but I think if she is the culprit, I guess now we're going to have to get into the why. First killing Dover, somehow preserved his body for 18 years, only for it to just now turn up. And then the attempted murder of Gustavia, one of the people involved in that incident. So, let us continue and see how this plays out. I have a report. We've detected traces of normalium from the teapot. So it's true. You can't be serious. It's just like Mr. Edgeworth said. Darn it! Did Mr. Edgeworth take the title of the best from me again? Mr. DeBest, it seems like you have an obsession about being the best. But when you're on a case, winning and losing is of no importance. What are you saying? Obviously, it's best to be the best at everything. If you can't understand that, then you have no business being a prosecutor. What? Please stop harassing Sebastian. Sebastian, a person of your caliber has no need to listen to such things. Justine, yeah, you're right. Please leave this to me. Why don't you go check on the victim's condition? Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll be right back then. Alright, I'll be waiting. Judge Courtney is much more troublesome than Mr. DeBest. Well then. Miss Curator, can you tell us why normalium was discovered in the teapot? I was not aware that it contained such a chemical. I suppose it may have been an ingredient from the detergent I used. So you're saying that you did not put it in deliberately? No, of course not. There's no way for me to have known how to create the poison gas.
Objection!
We found that to not be the case. Despite being a former actress, it seems you're not very good at lying. What do you mean? Yeah, she's getting nervous. The angel's recipe is in your possession. And the method to create the poison gas is contained inside that recipe book. So you must have known how to create it. I'm surprised you knew about that. Miss Curator, is this true? It's true that information about the poison gas is contained in one of the recipes. However, just because I saw it doesn't mean that I was responsible for the crime. Could you tell me what set off the poison gas? It was caused by the victim heating the lid of the glass case with a burner. I see. Yeah, why would he have done that? If he locked himself in that room of his own will and then set off the poison gas, wouldn't that suggest suicide? Does she intend to deny it until the bitter end? Again, if this were a suicide, you wouldn't think he would have done something this convoluted. Furthermore, I wouldn't have been able to obtain a chemical like Megatoxin X. Maybe... No, I think she could have stolen it from Delicia. That may be true, but you could have stolen it from someone else. Yep. That reminds me, I met up with Katie a week ago, and... That night was when I realized my Megatoxin X was gone! Katie, you couldn't have... Madame Delicia always carried her medicine bag around with her. Anyone could have stolen it. That's right, I don't have any proof that she was the one who stole it. Okay, can't you tell us what you're hiding? I know you're not the kind of person who would hurt someone without a reason. Monsieur Shields, you doubt me as well? Setting a trap on one of the gallery's exhibits, and then disguising the rooms. I just think it would have been impossible for anyone but the curator. That's not true. There are no guards or security cameras at this gallery. If any ill-intentioned person wanted to sneak into the gallery, it would have been an easy task for them. Then, isn't it like an all-you-can-steal buffet in here? Yeah, you would think that a place like this would have a little bit better security than that. You'll have to be careful, you never know when a great thief could appear. It doesn't sound like a joke when Kay says it. Actually, Monsieur Gustavia apparently entered the gallery before it opened. Well, I'm beat. Looks like Uncle Ray can't do anything to break down Kate's iron guard. This might be a good time to use the technique your old man taught me. The technique my father taught you. This case is deeply connected to the one from 18 years ago. If we just pursue the present case, it may seem like there's a lot we don't understand. But if we try turning things around, there might be a hint in the case from the past. Thinking the other way around. Did my father do that too? For example, just consider the relationship between the past case and Kate. Ms. Hall melted Mr. Dover's sherbet sculptures 18 years ago. And today, Mr. Dover's works are on display in this gallery. It can't be she. I see. Now I know what to ask her. That's good to hear. In that case, Uncle Ray will just watch over you as you do your work. Miss Catherine Hall. 18 years ago, it seems that you melted Mr. Dover's sherbet sculptures. Yes, I was young and inexperienced, and I did something inexcusable. However, isn't that why you were able to open the Zodiac Art Gallery? I don't know what you mean. I don't understand either. Prosecutor Edgeworth, do you seek her testimony? Yes. I would like her to tell me about the Zodiac Art Gallery. I would like to know I'd like to know the reason you decided to open a gallery for Mr. Dover's artwork. If you insist this is related to the case at hand, I will allow it. Miss Curator, your testimony, if you please. Very well, if that will clear your suspicions about me. Now then, please testify about the Zodiac Art Gallery. Years after Monsieur Master was arrested, I was finally able to buy back this mansion. Then, in order to maintain it, I decided to manage it as an art gallery. I collected Pierre Hoquet's works from all over the world. After all, it was my dream to open the Zodiac Art Gallery. It's wonderful that your dream came true. What do you think, Prosecutor Edgeworth? I don't believe there was anything strange about her testimony. Judge Courtney, I believe in the courtroom it's standard to cross-examine the witness. Wouldn't you agree it's a little too early to say that there are no contradictions? You speak like a defense attorney. Very well. Proceed as you please. Art gallery.
Hold it!
Pierre Hoquet. That's Mr. Dover's alias, correct? Yes, it's the name he used when he worked as a sculptor in France. About collecting his works. How did you prepare the Taurus and Gemini sculptures? I heard that Mr. Dover passed away before he completed those two sculptures. That was from the pictures that she took of them, right? I had the sculptures in the Winter Palace specially made based on the photos I took. Oh, could you tell us about that in more detail? By photos, do you mean the ones taken in Isaac Dover's room? Yes, you seem quite familiar with the events from 18 years ago, Monsieur Edgeworth. So the sculptures in the Winter Palace were replicas. They melted and I needed to get to see them once. No, the sherbet sculptures shouldn't have been replicas. Miss Hall is obviously lying. After all the trouble it took to prepare them, it's a shame they melted. The sculptures in the Winter Palace are the same sherbet sculptures from 18 years ago. Unless I point that out to her, I won't be able to find out the truth. Should we look at? Were they the same? Something's off about that. Did you really think that your excuses would continue to hold up? No matter how much you lie, you can't deny the composition of the sculptures. From the analysis results, it's quite clear that the sculptures in the Winter Palace are the sherbet sculptures Mr. Dover created. So those were the same ones. Oi, Miley! As a pharmacist, it's my turn to shine. What we call sugar actually comes in many different varieties and tastes. Even if the sculptures were replicas, it's nearly impossible to replicate the composition. I see. Thank you for the explanation. Though I don't recall asking for one. That, Miss Hall, means you couldn't have melted the sherbet sculptures back then. You stole them and preserved them for 18 years. Ah! The heck? So... what? She preserved the sherbet for 18 whole years? If you freeze it properly, it's not impossible. Silence, please. Miss Curator, what do you have to say? I can't believe you've already uncovered so much. But... How did she do this, though? So you're admitting that you stole the sherbet sculptures? No, I cannot admit to such a thing. There isn't any proof that I stole them after all. Also, I couldn't have stolen the sculptures 18 years ago. I don't think they would have been easy to steal without the police noticing. And where did she keep them that whole time? As well as, and again, Dover's body. Is that so? I don't know what you did 18 years ago. As such, how can I judge how difficult it would have been to steal them? It looks like you won't give up so easily. I don't intend on giving up until I learn the truth. I understand. Then I shall tell you what I did 18 years ago. This should be good. On the day of the incident, I was waiting in the main building until the judging. During the judging, at Monsieur Master's request, I went to change the film and the camera. But before I could deliver the camera to him, I discovered Monsieur Dover's body. After Monsieur Gregory arrived, I prepared tea for everyone involved in the investigation. It was then that I witnessed Monsieur Gustavia entering Monsieur Dover's room. And that was everything I'd done on that day. I don't think there's anything suspicious about my actions. That's not your decision to make. Mr. Edgeworth, were there any contradictions in her testimony? For now, I should just prove that she stole the sculptures. But when could Miss Hall have stolen them? If I can answer that, her crime should come to light. So you entered Mr. Master's room before you delivered the camera? Yes, I heard the sound of something breaking, you see. Monsieur Master, are you in here? That was actually the sound of the ship breaking. Someone snuck a bite of it, you see. When the body was discovered, was Mr. Master still judging Mr. Gustavia's room? I'm sure that he was. Monsieur Master is the type of person who would carefully judge one room at a time. She found Mr. Dover's body inside Mr. Master's room. Could Miss Hall have stolen the sculptures then? No, I don't think she could have stolen them until after... until Master was finished judging. Because otherwise he would have noticed. He would have said that the statues were missing. It couldn't have been then. I should listen to more of her testimony. After Monsieur Gregory arrived, I prepared tea for everyone involved in the investigation. Did you do so in the same manner as today? Yes, I poured tea for everyone working on the investigation. Now that you mention it, Uncle Ray also got some tea from you that day. Kate was pushing your service cart back and forth, from the patio to the main building. I see. Did anything seem strange to you then? Well, I remember your old man singing praises of her Clayton tea. Of her Ceylon tea. And he also said something about how the saucer was chilled. I think we got it. The saucer was chilled? Could Miss Hall have stolen the sculptures then? I think so. This was when you stole the Sherbet sculptures. I'm sorry, but Monsieur Shields and company were at the fountain patio the entire time. Are you saying that I stole them in broad daylight? That's precisely what I'm saying. This is where she hid the sculptures, to steal them right under their noses. Were they under the service cart? Under the cloth?
Take that!
Again, carried them out right under their noses. Neither my father nor Mr. Shields realized the sculpture was right in front of them. What you were pushing around was no ordinary service cart. It was the sculpture itself. Eek!
Overruled!
But surely that would still be impossible. If she placed the sculptures on the service cart, people would notice immediately.
Objection!
I never said she used the service cart to move the sculptures. What? What do you mean? Then what did she use to move the sculptures around? This is what Ms. Hall used to transport the sculptures. Huh? Was it... Dover used this to carry his ice sculptures. The surface of the platform is wet. Was she pushing... Did she have the sculpture cases on the trolley and then just drape the cloth over it to make it look like the service cart?
Take that!
And this is the lift trolley Mr. Dover used 18 years ago to move his Sherbet sculptures. It seems the same lift trolley lies here, in the fountain patio. That's because it was originally prepared for the contest in the first place. Are you saying she used the lift trolley to move the sculptures? Yes. The sculptures are placed on this lift trolley and then covered with a tablecloth. It could be disguised as a service cart and moved without arousing suspicion. And that was why the saucers were chilled. They felt cold, at least. How could that be? So the saucers were chilled because they were sitting on the ice sculptures? Kate, what's the meaning of this? What were you thinking? That was truly impressive. She admits it then. You certainly are Monsieur Gregory's son. After 18 years, it's hard to imagine any proof that I stole the sculptures remained. But I knew it was only a matter of time until I was suspected. Miss Curator, does this mean you admit to stealing the sculptures? Yes, I admit it. "18 years ago, I stole the sherbet sculptures from Monsieur Dover's room. It's just as Monsieur Edgeworth says. I disguised the lift trolley as a service cart. And I served tea as I made my way back and forth. That wasn't all. I also took the ice block with all the star clusters on it. An ice block with star clusters on it. That seems familiar. Oh, that. A giant block of ice is being displayed here. It appears to be quite heavy. No, the inside must be hollow. The Winter Palace is a reproduction of Mr. Dover's room from 18 years ago. Because they had melted, my father never got the chance to see them. But those blocks of ice were also originally from Dover's Sherbet Salon. The 2 sculptures and the 2 blocks of ice. I took everything I could. And then I placed empty glass cases in Monsieur Dover's room. The sculptures were all encased in glass to preserve their fine details. But the ice blocks were being displayed as they were. As per the rules, we prepared the glass cases for Mr. Dover. So it would have been easy for her to prepare the glass cases. In Monsieur Dover's room, there were some sculptures that were still unfinished. I thought if I melted them, it would look like the ones I stole had melted too. So everything you see in the Winter Palace are all original works from 18 years ago. I mean, we know she was an admirer of Dover's work. Was that the reason she stole it with the intent of preserving it? Miss Hall, it didn't take much to get her to confess. Then she must know. She knows it isn't enough to try her in court. That's all I have to say. But even though I admit to stealing the sculptures, you can't arrest me for it. What? What do you mean by that? Heavens! You're assisting an investigation without knowing this much? Oh, you mean statute of limitations? Yeah. Perhaps you should read this book concerning the statute of limitations. Statute of limitations? To put it simply, it's the time frame in which a suspect can be taken to court. You can see it on this page. Murder, 15 years. Theft, 7 years. statute of limitations for murder is 15 years, and for theft it's 7 years. Ah! That's right. And Miss Hall's theft was 18 years ago. According to the statute, she can't be arrested for stealing the sculptures. So that's how it is. Stealing evidence from a crime scene is an unforgivable offense. However, for this crime at least, we have no right to pass judgment. It appears the prosecutor Edgeworth's tepid reasoning has all been for naught.
Objection!
I wonder about that. I deduced Miss Hall's actions simply to expose a different crime. If she only took the sculptures, we wouldn't have found the body from 18 years ago. Are you saying that I hid Monsieur Dover's body? That's correct. But how can someone hide a body for 18 years? I would imagine it would be very difficult under normal circumstances. So you're saying the circumstances weren't normal? Are you claiming that you know where the body was hidden? When you consider Miss Hall's actions, the answer becomes obvious. 18 years ago, Miss Hall stole something more than just Sherman's sculptures. If you're so confident, I would like to hear your answer. Wait a second, before we get too much further into this, let me check this. If the suspect flees to or lives in a foreign country, the time limit is on hold until the suspect returns. If possible accomplices are on trial, the countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached, then resumes. If charges are pressed to demand compensation, the statute is frozen for the length of that procedure. Where did Miss Hall hide the body? I have a... I wish we had a... I wish we still had a picture of the original Gemini sculpture, but... I wonder... I'm wondering, is the body the part of the Gemini sculpture in underneath the robe?
Take that!
This is the photograph of Mr. Dover's sculptures. Yes, and perhaps you've noticed that, and that the victim's body can be seen in this picture. I do not see it. Please point it out clearly. Where in this picture can one see the body of the victim? It's time to expose the location of the body in the photograph.
Take that!
Here. The Gemini sculpture? Yes. While it may look like the Gemini sculpture at first glance, in reality, this is none other than Isaac Dover himself. Okay, this is getting weird. So she actually replaced part of the sculpture with the body? That sounds a little effed up. This ice sculpture was the victim's body? But all I can see from this picture is an ice sculpture statue.
Objection!
That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to conceal it. Conceal it? Which piece of evidence did Miss Hall use to conceal the body? Oh, the cloth.
Take that!
This is the cloth that was covering the sculptures in the Autumn Palace. This cloth manipulates light. With it, it's entirely possible to make something look like ice. Isn't that right, Delicia?
Yesy. When it glows red, it's like a raging inferno. And when it glows blue, you can almost feel the glittering cool ice.
That cloth will only emit light when it's attached to a special device.
Objection!
Judge Courtney, look closely at the picture one more time. Beneath the Gemini case lies a box-shaped object attached to the pedestal. Yeah. That very device. This is a rainbow light device. Detective Gumshoe reported one in the Winter Palace. This is the device that went missing 18 years ago. Originally, it would have been attached to the cloth inside the glass case. Naturally, Miss Hall took the device with her when she moved the sculptures. By using the rainbow light device to make the fluorescent cloth glow, Mr. Dover's body was made to look like an ice sculpture. That's ridiculous! So then, when Uncle Ray took a photo of the Winter Palace... That's right. The body had been in front of us all along, disguised as Gemini. However, the body and the fluorescent cloth were both discovered in the fountain. If the ice sculpture was the body, we would have found it in the Winter Palace.
Objection!
If we had found it there, her trick would have been revealed immediately. Ms. Hall moved the body out of the Winter Palace to prevent us from discovering it. Absurd. You say she threw the body into the fountain without any of us noticing? No, Judge Courtney. There was no need for that. She simply used the same method as before. Remember the lift trolley? Ah! She moved the body to some other room and dumped it into the stream to the fountain. Naturally, the frozen body would have sunk to the bottom of the fountain. That's why the cloth floated up first and was found by Delicia. And eventually the body thawed out and floated to the surface. Monsieur Edgeworth, you truly have a gift for deductive reasoning. However, do you have any proof that I moved the body? If you cannot prove that, then there's no way I can accept what you're saying. Wasn't there anyone who saw Miss Hall move the body? I think there was. Yes, I believe such a person exists. The butts. The answers lie in the evidence that person gave me. And that piece of evidence will reveal the truth of Ms. Hall's actions. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you able to prove the crime of Miss Curator? Certainly. I have evidence that will show exactly what she did. Then it's time we see your answer. Which piece of evidence reveals Miss Curator's actions? Yeah, it was...
Take that!
Another sketch? Oh, it appears I've been drawn in this one. This is a sketch Larry drew of the women at the fountain patio. I would like to direct your attention to the service card on the left side of the sketch. Service card? What about it? Don't you see? What transpired 18 years ago has happened again. This Hall was moving the body in the sketch. No! Please, wait! I don't see Monsieur Dover's body anywhere in that drawing. All I did was hand out chocolates to everyone. The key detail in this sketch is the color of the tablecloth. Up until now, I thought Larry had just made a mistake. The tablecloth, it's light blue. It may be light blue in the sketch, but no blue tablecloths exist in this mansion. Perhaps it's light blue because the body was hidden, still glowing underneath the tablecloth. What? But the lift trolley is rectangular in the sketch. If she just placed the body in the lift trolley, we would notice it immediately.
Objection!
There were 2 blocks of ice in the Winter Palace that are completely hollowed out. If she put the body inside the block of ice, it would look like a service card. That's... Miss Hall, you put the body in the block of ice and used the lift trolley to move it, didn't you? I never imagined you'd be able to do so much from just a single sketch. But what if it was just a mistake, like you said before? It doesn't prove anything. I agree that alone the sketch is worthless. Once you remove the body, the service card would revert back to a lift trolley. That's why the lift trolley was left behind in the fountain patio. And without the service card, there would be no place for you to put your chocolates. The chocolates I gave everyone? Until then, the chocolates had sat on top of the service card as you gave them away. But when you gave them to us, you took them from your pocket. Ah, now that you mention it, they were a bit melted. But they were still really sweet and tasty. So why was it necessary to put them in your pocket halfway through? That's because once the body was disposed of, you no longer had a service card. Ah! Hold it right there. If she put the chocolates in her pocket and left the lift trolley in the patio, then where did the tablecloth go? If she had been forced to put the chocolates in her pocket, she wouldn't have had time to dispose of the tablecloth. So does she still have that on her, too? Prosecutor Edgeworth, can you answer that for me? The tablecloth wasn't hidden. It's right in front of us. tablecloth used to hide the body, where is it now? Does she still have that on her, then? Isn't it obvious? Miss Hall is carrying it with her out in the open. Out in the open? Ah, you mean... Miss Hall. You're wearing the tablecloth around your waist. Ah, her little apron. The block of ice was not encased in a glass case. In other words, the tablecloth was in direct contact with the block of ice. If we have it examined, we will undoubtedly find traces of sherbet on it. Miss Hall, you'll turn your tablecloth over to the police at once. There's no need to examine the tablecloth. It is just as you say. I stole the poison from Madame Delicia, and I moved the body. I have done... Oh, here we go. I have done terrible things. Madame Delicia, I'm so sorry. 1 week ago, I took your Megatoxin X bottle. So did she try to kill Gustavia? I slipped it into that man's pocket to make it look like suicide. And if they suspected it was murder, the evidence would point to Madame Delicia.
Hey, Katie!
Kate, what were you thinking? Weren't we always trying to save Mr. Master together? I could not let myself be arrested. Not until I had proven Monsieur Master's innocence. From the very beginning, I had planned to turn myself in once everything was over. But I suppose it is too late to say that now. Kate, why? Why would you go this far? Even for Monsieur Shields, I have caused nothing but trouble. For the past 18 years, I've been a criminal. The IS-7 incident. Don't tell me that you were the true culprit. My greatest crime was stealing the sherbet sculptures for my own selfish interests. When Monsieur Dover died, they were no longer just ordinary sculptures. They'd become the final works of the sculptor Monsieur Master so deeply loved. I see. What if they melted before Monsieur Master returned? With that in mind, I couldn't let anyone touch them, not even the police. Even though I knew it was wrong, I moved them to the mansion's freezer. However, I only wanted to preserve Monsieur Dover's art. What about the body? I did not know his body was hidden among them. Wait, She didn't know? So she stole the sculptures without noticing the body. So is Gustavia the true culprit then? Monsieur Master would never take another person's life. But because of me, the body vanished, and Monsieur Master was found guilty. That kind man, he treated someone like me as family. He meant more to me than anyone else, and yet... Kate. When Monsieur Master was found guilty, I was chased out of this mansion. I was finally able to reclaim the mansion just a few days ago, but... when I saw the sculpture still sleeping away in the freezer, I realized... that I was the one who hid Monsieur Dover's body. However, the statute of limitations had already expired. Therefore, I could think of no other way to atone for my sins. It appears I've misunderstood her. It seems she caused this entire incident in order to save Mr. Master. What you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? There is one thing that has been bothering me this whole time. Why would Miss Hall plan a murder with such an uncertain method like poison gas? And the reason she disguised the Autumn Palace to look like the Winter Palace. Was to make those involved in the incident 18 years ago confuse the two rooms. I wonder what Kate was trying to accomplish. She was trying to prove Mr. Master's innocence. In that case, Miss Hall's true objective was to find the true culprit, wasn't it? Perhaps she was trying to find the true culprit. Miss Hall, were you trying to prove Mr. Master's innocence? You wanted to reveal the true culprit and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Was that not your true goal? By displaying those sculptures, you'd attract those involved in the past incident. Only two people would know where the body was hidden. You and the true culprit. The culprit would have panicked, knowing that the body would be displayed publicly. Yes, and if the culprit really showed up, there's the risk they'd erase their tracks. In the worst case scenario, they might have even stolen the body. It's all coming together now. Okay. It was Gustavia, wasn't it? He was trying to break into the case to try and remove the body and dispose of the evidence. So how could she protect the evidence while simultaneously luring in the culprit? I see. That's why she made the Autumn Palace look like the Winter Palace. Yes. And then, Miss Hall, you must have thought, whoever opens the Pisces case, believing it to be the Gemini case, must be the true culprit of the IS-7 incident. What? But that means that person is the true culprit?
Overruled!
Please wait a moment, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Do you realize what you're saying? Do you intend to accuse that person of being the culprit behind the IS-7 incident? Miss Hall was trying to trap the true culprit. If so, wouldn't the person who fell for the trap be the true culprit? However, I have no evidence to back up my claims. If I make a formal accusation without any proof, it will not end well. Should I announce the true killer of Isaac Dover? Yeah. What I should do is reveal the truth. In that case, there's no need to hesitate. Yes, that's correct, Judge Courtney. I indict this person as the true culprit behind the IS-7 incident. Dane Gustavia.
Take that!
Dane Gustavia, who fell victim to the poison gas, is the true culprit of the IS-7 incident?
Gussie is...
Mr. Gustavia? Ms. Hall. Didn't you believe that if you opened this gallery, the true culprit would come? That's why you set up the poison gas trap, is it not? You truly have a gifted mind, just like your father. It is as you say, Monsieur Edgeworth. Now, would you please tell us the whole truth? Yes, I have nothing more to hide. I will tell you everything. I set a trap in the gallery to find the true culprit. Before the gallery opened, I left only the Autumn Palace unlocked. At opening time, when I went around to unlock each room, I discovered that the Autumn Palace had been locked from the inside. I knew that the true culprit was on the other side of the door. My hand was trembling. All that was left was for the trap to do its work. When I heard Monsieur Gustavia was exposed to the poison gas, I realized he was the culprit. And I thought that if the police discovered Monsieur Dover's body, it would prove Monsieur Master's innocence. Why didn't you ever come talk to me? There might have been another way. I know that you did everything you could for me over the past 18 years. However, all of this had been brought on by my own crime. That's why I wanted to save Monsieur Master as soon as possible. Kate. Not only that, the police hid the fact that the body went missing 18 years ago. Even if I reported the body, there was a chance that the truth would be hidden again. That's why I caused the incident at the museum's opening, with as many witnesses as possible. I'm sorry. Gregory, Mr. Master, and even you. I couldn't protect anyone. Mr. Shields. Must be tough on him as well. The one who should be apologizing is me. Monsieur Edgeworth, Monsieur Shields, I'm terribly sorry. I shall accept whatever punishment I'm given. However, I must ask of you, please clear Monsieur Master's name. The truth that was hidden for 18 years is revealed in an unexpected manner. However, to think that things would end this way. Well, now, this has taken quite a turn. Well, I guess Kate's not such a bad person after all, but she sure made things a lot more confusing for us. But now, give me a few minutes, and I guess we're about to end this and see if we can expose Gustavia as the true culprit from 18 years ago. I'll see you in a few minutes. Alright. So, from the looks of things, Katie is not the killer, but again, she did steal the sculptures, not realizing that Dover's body was hidden among it. And now, apparently she set up this trap to try and unmask the real killer, which it's looking like is Gustavia. So, let's see where this goes. Miss Hall, have you composed yourself? Yes. What you did, no matter the reason, was unforgivable. Yes, I know. However, you committed this crime in order to prove Mr. Master's innocence. If the true culprit is someone else, we have a duty to reinvestigate.
Overruled!
Huh? What do you want? No false evidence from the IS-7 incident remains in the official case files. Moreover, there is no evidence to lend credence to Ms. Hall's testimony. We should first arrest Ms. Hall as the culprit behind today's incident.
Objection!
We cannot be certain that all the case files are accurate. After all, the prosecutor in the case has a history of forging evidence. Right.
Overruled!
Are you suggesting that the PIC overlooked such a prosecutor? Obviously. That's none of my concern. The truth is that evidence was falsified. And the fact that Dover's body from 18 years ago was just discovered proves it. Yeah. Right, because Von Karma forged the autopsy report. In which case, can we get a new autopsy report? Edgeworth updating the autopsy report again. Prosecutor Edgeworth, I can see remnants of Prosecutor Von Karma within you. What did you say? You try to deceive the PIC and fabricate the truth. Let me inform you of my, or rather the PIC's logic. Oh. Oh, what's this? I acknowledge that Prosecutor Von Karma fabricated the information about the body. However, he successfully convicted Mr. Master as an accomplice. I believe that the true culprit was Miss Curator herself. She even attempted to murder Mr. Gustavia today in order to pin the blame on him. Is that really what the PIC believes? Yes, every word I utter is for the sake of law and order. It seems she intends to hide the truth for the sake of the PIC. At this rate, neither Mr. Master nor Miss Hall will be saved.
Hold it!
If she wanted to pin the blame on if she wanted to pin the crime on someone, why choose Mr. Gustavia? Perhaps Mr. Gustavia suspected Ms. Hall was the criminal. As he attempted to confirm whether or not the Gemini sculpture was genuine, he was caught in a trap meant to silence him forever.
Objection!
Can you prove that theory? Mr. Gustavia is currently teetering on the brink of death. There's probably no way to prove it unless he regains consciousness. In other words, there is nothing we can do for now. That can't be true. There must still be something we can do. You still don't get it, do you? Allow me to give you a clearer explanation. already have ample evidence for both the IS-7 incident and today's poison gas incident. Do we now? What about this? Because this we just got.
Objection!
There is still one piece of evidence from the IS-7 incident that remains unsettled. Take a look at this. This is the forensic results from the Gemini sculpture that melted in the Winter Palace. According to the results of the analysis, traces of someone's blood was found. Who does this blood belong to? Until we know the answer, this case is still open. I mean, we're assuming it's Dover's, but could it be someone else's? There was blood mixed in with the remains of the Gemini sculpture? I mean, we know now that Dover's body was hidden as part of the sculpture. I heard nothing of this from Sebastian. This was a report from Detective Gumshoe. I planned to tell Mr. DeBest myself. So even though you had no investigative authority, you still did as you please. I shall report everything that transpired today to the PIC. I will not avert my eyes from the truth, nor shall I overlook the mistakes of the past. If you wish to report my actions to the PIC, be my guest. But in exchange, I want you to let me investigate this case to the very end. It is not my place to decide such things. I must ask that you check with Sebastian regarding this matter. Oh, Draco's back. Hey, good news, you guys! Thanks to our early detection, Mr. Gustavia's life was saved. Mr. Gustavia. So, he's alive. Just in time to be suspect numero uno now. Would you be the ones who saved my life? Hey, Mr. Gustavia. You are Sir Assistant, are you not? You've grown so big. This one is your assistant, then? I wouldn't have thought him to be the killer either. We know that at this point we found out that he and Dover were helping each other during the contest. At one point, did one betray the other, though? And apparently their two kids were friends. No, I'm... He's an assistant candidate, and Gregory Edgeworth's son. I'm Miles Edgeworth, prosecutor. What a twist of fate. I'm in your debt. It is thanks to you that I've completely recovered. There's no need for thanks. Since you're alive, we can reach the truth behind the incident 18 years ago. What do you speak of? While you were unconscious, the truth has started to come to light. You may be Isaac Dover's murderer. I'm getting a little nervous now. What? Really? Ms. Hall was looking for the criminal behind the events of 18 years ago. That's why she set up the poison gas in the Pisces case. Mr. Gustavia, the events of the incident 18 years ago. Tell us what really happened. So you wish to remain silent? Nah, I think he's just meditating. You can sleep standing up? What a useful skill to have! Meditation is different from sleeping, though. Mr. Gustavia, please tell us what you did 18 years ago. I'm the criminal because I fell for the trap? That's not a very funny joke. I'm a victim, not a culprit. Mr. Gustavia, it has not yet been made clear whether or not you're the criminal. This is only their baseless speculation. Do not concern yourself with the drivel of a prosecutor without jurisdiction. At least there is one person here who understands. My name is Justine Courtney. I am a judge. If you like, I would be happy to assist you. Let us show Prosecutor Edgeworth the truth of 18 years ago. Understood. I shall prove my innocence to you, Sir Prosecutor.
Objection!
Judge Courtney, is that your answer? Do you intend to bury the truth of the IS-7 incident before it can be brought to light? I merely believe in the judgments of the goddess of law. Ultimately, those who render judgment are only human. As long as humans control the law, there is no guarantee that every verdict is correct. If you're going to help conceal the truth, I will not hold back. I'm looking forward to it. Lady Justine, what should I do now? You are being suspected because you set off the poison gas. Can you tell us the reason why you opened the Pisces case? Understood. I came to see Sir Dover's works from 18 years ago. However, I accidentally entered the museum a half hour before it opened. Miss Hall, there was nobody at the entrance, correct? Since I thought the criminal from 18 years ago might be coming, I had no security guards in place. I didn't even lock the doors. I was very busy with opening preparations, so there was nobody on the first floor. In addition, I locked every palace door aside from the autumn one. I see. This must have been done in order to lure the criminal to the Autumn Palace. Which is why he ended up entering the Autumn Palace. It's already suspicious that he snuck into the museum in the first place. The gallery should remain silent. Unless you have evidence that can prove his testimony false, I will not allow any objections. Gallery? This isn't even a courtroom. Now then, why did you open the Pisces case? I wish to view Sir Dover's handiwork up close. the Gemini sculpture. No, it was actually the Pisces, wasn't it? Ah, so you too. So that was the whole point of covering them up. Parts of the statues up was so that he would mistake the Pisces sculpture for Gemini. The lid had been frozen shut, so I borrowed a burner to open it. But as soon as I opened the lid, poison gas began pouring out. That's quite a convenient testimony. It sounds like a total lie, doesn't it? There are parts of Mr. Gustavia's testimony that I have issues with as well. However, there is no evidence to disprove it. But that's... Would it not make sense for suspicion to fall on Lady Catherine before myself? She may have intended to release the poison gas haphazardly.
Objection.
Kate turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She was specifically targeting the person who triggered the trap. Mr. Gustavia, you were her only target. You are willing to accept the words of this criminal as the truth? Miss Hall must atone for her crimes. However, the same can be said for the criminal from 18 years ago. Sir Prosecutor, it seems you wish to suspect me to the bitter end. However, I had no reason to murder Sir Dover. If there is no evidence that suggests that I killed him, you cannot suspect me. Mr. Edgeworth, can't you prove that Mr. Gustavia is the criminal? All we know for sure is that Mr. Gustavia fell victim to the poison gas. No matter how strange his behavior was, it won't prove he committed the murder. But that's... Mr. Shield, is there nothing we can do? Well, if there isn't any evidence, we should try reorganizing the facts. If Mr. Gustavia was the one who killed Mr. Dover, there must have been a motive. Motive. Mr. Gustavia himself is denying that such a motive exists. It's not easy to take another person's life. 18 years ago, your old man also discussed motive with Prosecutor Von Karma. You claim their collaboration is irrelevant? If Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover's relationship had turned sour, Gustavia helped Dover with his finals dessert, but Dover didn't help Gustavia with his. It could serve as a motive for murder. We couldn't talk with Mr. Gustavia 18 years ago, but this time things are different. Right, Von Karma's prevented us from talking to him. If we connect everything we've learned so far, the truth might be revealed. Yes, I suppose so. It seems I must re-examine the information from 18 years ago. I must recall all the details that have remained unexplained. So, the gloved finger marks on the picture frame. Was your doing? Delicia denied leaving the finger marks on the frame. If they were left by Mr. Gustavia, he may have been trying to view the angel's recipe.
Sir Master asked me to change the film in the camera. It seemed the film he prepared in advance wasn't enough. There wasn't enough film? It seems the number of photos he took didn't match up with the amount of film remaining. Right, that's right. So was somebody using the camera beforehand? Well, he told me himself it might have been just a mistake, though. The information my father collected 18 years ago is certainly not for naught. If there is no evidence, then I shall use logic to reveal the truth. Mr. Gustavia, you collaborated with the victim, Isaac Dover, to create your desserts, didn't you? Oh, it seems you know about my secret. Mr. Shields told me about it. Mr. Dover handled the design while you were in charge of the taste. Is that correct? No. Back then, my training had been insufficient. It seems you worked together through the semi-finals, but not during the finals. Why is that? We both wish to compete in the finals against Sir Master on our own merits.
Objection!
You must have also helped with Isaac Dover's dessert even during the finals. Yeah, what makes you able to declare something like that? Didn't you tell Prosecutor Von Karma about it yourself 18 years ago? That you cooperated until the day before the finals? The sculptures in Mr. Dover's room were all made out of sherbet. Such an amount would most likely need to be left overnight to freeze. Which means Mr. Gustavia prepared Mr. Dover's sherbet in advance the day before. That's right. So you realize Gustavia's cooperation ended the day before the finals. Then why did Mr. Dover not help Mr. Gustavia in return?
Objection!
The views of the dead are of no concern to me. Why did Isaac Dover not help you in return? If there's a reason why your partnership with Isaac Dover broke down, that would be a motive for murder. Ooh. That could be a possibility. Oh. However, Sir Dover and I ended our partnership peacefully. A peaceful breakup? That's hard to imagine. Not to mention, it's absurd to think I killed Sir Dover in Sir Master's room. I couldn't have killed Sir Dover while Sir Master was also there making his desserts. No, but you might have moved his body there after. In other words, there's no way I could have committed the murder. And I think we've established that one of Delicia's salt lamps was the murder weapon as well. I don't know if he did that with the intent of framing her or what yet. That's not true. If there was a moment when Mr. Master was absent from the room, I could prove that it was possible for Mr. Gustavia to commit the murder. someone use it to take pictures of the angel's recipe? Did Dover catch him taking pictures? And he killed him because of that? If he photographed the contents of the angel's recipe, he wouldn't need to steal it. Perhaps Mr. Gustavia used Mr. Master's camera to take the pictures. If he'd stolen the actual recipe book, the police would have found out. I see, pictures, huh? The problem is the time at which he entered Mr. Master's room. Mr. Gustavia could have moved around freely during the afternoon tea, right? Because it seems both him and Mr. Dover did not participate in the afternoon tea. Ah, yes. So that might have been when he snuck into the room. If I remember correctly, the only time we can prove that Dover was still alive is... The victim was not seen, as he stayed locked up in his room after the contest had begun. So he wasn't seen alive until before the contest. The only one who could have unlocked the locked rooms was Jeff Master. Was Master's desserts all that you ate? Actually, no. After the afternoon tea, I also ate Icy's desserts. After the contest began, Isaac Dover was locked up in his room. If we assume he was killed at some point before Delicious snuck into his room, then there's a high chance he was killed before the afternoon tea was over. Isaac Dover was alive up until the afternoon tea began. Ergo, that's the only time when Gustavia could have killed Dover. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you satisfied? Sorry, but I'm far from satisfied. Because I'm finally starting to see the truth behind this case. Are you saying you found some evidence to show us that truth? No, there's no need to present any evidence, since we can just have Mr. Gustavia tell us the truth. Ah, so this is where you use that, right? Indeed. Mr. Gustavia, there's one thing I want you to tell me. I said, Mr. Gustavia, there's one thing I want you to tell me. Yeah, what is it? During the finals of the contest, you made your desserts on your own. I wanted to compete for the title of the world's greatest pastry chef on my own merits.
Objection!
If that was truly the case, you would have competed on your own merits from the start. I want you to tell me why it was necessary for you to cooperate with Isaac Dover. During the contest 18 years ago, Mr. Gustavia collaborated with Mr. Dover. I wonder, what made them decide to cooperate in the first place? That's what I need to draw out from him, but... Oh boy. He's got a lot of chess pieces. It seems he pretends to meditate when things aren't going his way. First, I'll ask about why he collaborated with Mr. Dover. The truth has been hidden for 18 years. That ends today. Why'd you collaborate with Mr. Dover? Why'd you decide to collaborate with Isaac Dover? Sir Dover and I were already acquaintances even before the contest began. Since he was interested in the contest, we simply decided to enter it together. Joining forces with a sculptor, you weren't confident in your own abilities. You know nothing about me. We wanted to make great works together. Sir Dover's son and my own attended the same elementary school. We all got along well from the start. Really? So you were going to share the title of World's Greatest Pastry Chef together? No. Wakey wakey. Huh? As expected, he pretends to meditate when things aren't going his way. Mr. Dover was a sculptor. I doubt he had any interest in the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. In that case, where did his true goal lie? Indeed, my goal was the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. However, Sir Dover's goal was the grand prize, the angel's recipe. I see. You cooperated because your interests were aligned. I think I might have thought... I'm wondering now, if it was Dover who photographed... If Dover was after the angel's recipe for whatever reason, I'm not sure why... Again, why a sculptor would have been interested in it. But if he had photographed the angel's recipe, he had what he wanted... So he was prepared to walk out on Gustavia and not keep his end of their deal. Maybe that was what led to things breaking down between them. But there must have been a reason why your partnership soured. Sir Prosecutor, I'm the victim of a poisoning. If you're going to suspect me in this manner, perhaps I'd better return to the infirmary. Wait a moment. In that case, you should end things soon. I'm not a patient man. It seems he's trying to leave. I can't let that happen. He's still hiding something. Next, I should ask him about his true goal. I need to keep the pressure on him, while being cautious of the time. Do you want a pure on piece of cake? Did you have another goal besides the title? The title alone doesn't seem to have much value. How dare the likes of you insult the title of a confectionery artist? My only goal was the title itself. I had no interest in anything else. My dream was to become the world's greatest pastry chef. "18 years ago, I was lacking in design sense. However, things are different now." Oh? Are you saying you've improved at your craft? Exactly, for I have trained at the Republic of Zhengfa. Yes, at the time I also studied Mr. Master's works. I would often watch his show with my son. So, you were studying Mr. Master's work to improve your own skills. If you had his recipes, perhaps it would have been easier for you to become the world's greatest. Perhaps. To a pastry chef, Sir Master's recipes were worth their weight in gold. So you did want the angel's recipe. If becoming the world's greatest pastry chef was your goal, you should have also been interested in the grand prize, the angel's recipe. The recipes of the world's greatest pastry chef. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't interested. However, I wouldn't think that simply being interested would be a problem. I wonder about that. The angel's recipe's true nature was not for making desserts, but cures. Was Gustavia aware of this? And oh yes, right, all the contest participants should have been aware of that. Looks like I'm getting close. He isn't meditating anymore. Now to slowly but surely drive him into a corner. Next, I'll ask what he planned to use the recipe book for. Intend to make desserts? Do you intend to win the angel's recipe and use it to make desserts? Of course. If I obtained the angel's recipe, I was going to use it in my training. I hear the angel's recipe was worth a lot of money. I don't know the exact details, but that recipe book was much too valuable to be sold. You seem to know quite a lot about the angel's recipe. Explained to all the contest participants at the beginning of the contest. In that case, you must know about the recipe book's true nature. That it was not a recipe book for desserts at all. Impressive, Sir Prosecutor. So you know the true nature of the angel's recipe. The angel's recipe. Some have called it the ultimate recipe book. It contained formulas for new medicines that were not yet on the market. He knew the recipes were actually formulas for new medicines. This could be a useful clue. Did you know its true value? Silly question. It contains Sir Master's best dessert recipes. Any pastry chef worth their salt would want it. Well, we know that to be false now. Looks like that clue will come in handy. You may have studied design in Zhengfa. However, your skills in line could use more work. You just said earlier that the angel's recipe contained formulas for medicines. Yeah. You weren't interested in desserts. You wanted the medicine formulas. Did he need a... Now, why would a pastry chef such as yourself be so interested in medicine? Perhaps what you were really after was the information about the new medicine? Ugh. I've underestimated you, Sir Prosecutor. Yes. My goal is more than just the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. At the time, my son was ill. I needed the recipe for the medicine. Oh, I see. Your son was ill. Tell me more about that. Is this gonna take a tragic turn? To protect my son's honor, I can say no more. Judging by the worried look on his face, I must have struck a nerve. Next, I need him to tell me more about his son's illness. This is it. This will be my final move of the game. What kind of person was your son? Ah, my boy. He loved the desserts I made. Did you enter the contest solely for your son? Sir Prosecutor, you could never understand the feelings a father has for his son. I wanted nothing more than to cure my boy's illness. Until the semi-finals, my son would always drop by the contest venue to play. Is that so? Wouldn't he get in your way? I doubt you had time to care for your son while you were challenging Mr. Master. That may be so, but I wanted to grant my son's wish. He said he always wanted to be the first to eat my desserts. About your son. If he was so sick, wouldn't it be difficult for him to come and play with you? That is... yeah. Yeah. My son's illness, it wasn't life-threatening. Oh. That might serve as a clue. Did the angel's recipe have the only cure? Yes, though the medicine is being sold everywhere now. At the time, the recipe book was my one and only option. That's why I continued making my desserts without joining the others for tea time. So you weren't interested in what Mr. Master was making. You sure seemed confident in your chances of winning. I couldn't be bothered to pay attention to the other contestants' desserts. I think he said, didn't he? You just said earlier that you studied Mr. Master's works. In addition, if your goal was to win the contest in order to get the medicine formula, you must have been curious about the other contestants' entries as well. Yeah. There was time to sample the other desserts during the contest, but none of their entries had any flavor, so I didn't want to eat any of it. I suspect I may have been a bit nervous as well. Didn't have any flavor? Everything he ate tasted flavorless. That same taste disorder that Master had. What was the name of your son's illness? Sir Prosecutor, How insensitive of you. My son was seriously ill. I will not be discussing this with the likes of you. Seriously ill? You told us it was non-threatening. Looks like that clue will come in handy. Yeah. You told me your son's illness was not life-threatening. Is there really a need to be so secretive about it? It was enough to keep him from living a normal life. That must have been difficult for your son. I tried everything I could to cure his illness. It wasn't fair for the poor boy. He could never taste the desserts he loved so much. Okay, yeah. The angel's recipe contains a cure for a certain illness. A remedy that could also cure Mr. Master's taste disorder. What? He had it too? He had it too, I see. So your son suffers from a taste disorder. Yeah. I didn't think you'd figure it out so quickly. In order to cure your son's taste disorder, you needed the recipe book. Wasn't that your true goal? It is as you say. Based on how he's acted up until now, it appears he's still hiding something. Looks like that clue will come in handy. Being unable to taste anything, regardless of what you eat. Such a bitter illness. That reminds me, didn't you say something similar earlier? None of their entries had any flavor, so I didn't feel like eating any of it, wasn't it? Perhaps your son wasn't the only one who suffered from a taste disorder. It's hard to imagine being a successful pastry chef without a sense of taste. Perhaps what you really wanted was to cure yourself. Yeah, that's completely ludicrous. 18 years ago, I made those desserts all by myself. It seems you've caught yourself in a contradiction. Didn't you cooperate with Isaac Dover in the contest? You can hardly say you made the desserts all by yourself. Ah! You must take great pride in your abilities as a pastry chef. But to betray your pride and cooperate with another contestant... You did it all to cure your own disease. Well done, Sir Prosecutor. It's as you say, the one with the taste disorder is not my son. It is I. No one knew. I kept it a secret for 18 years. Doesn't matter how long a secret is kept. If you lie before me, I will expose it. Jade Gustavia and Isaac Dover were both trying to obtain the recipes for the new medicines. Gustavia to cure his condition, and Dover most likely to sell the recipe book for money. Ah, yes, because they said Dover had debt issues, didn't he? So yeah, that would have been why he wanted it, was just to sell it for the money. For this reason, they enter the contest as a collaborative effort. And with that, checkmate. I've never told this to anyone. Well done. As you say, I developed a taste disorder 18 years ago.
Taste disorder?
It was a severe disorder. I was unable to discern any flavor at all. It's the one illness a pastry chef dreads above all.
Those symptoms sound a bit different from Mr. Master's taste disorder. Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, it sounds like that is a real thing. And I even mentioned then, it seems it might affect different people differently, because in Master's case, he couldn't taste salt. Mr. Master's condition is known as hypogeusia. It simply causes a decreased sensitivity to certain specific flavors. I'm sure this caused Sir Master much pain too. After all, no medication was available to cure it 18 years ago. In order to cure your taste disorder, you would need Mr. Master's Angel's recipe. And that's why you entered the contest, am I correct? That was one of my goals, but I still had my sights set on the title of World's Greatest. When it comes to making desserts, I won't lose to anyone. Even without the ability to taste, I still have the utmost confidence in my flavors. Oh? So I presume you also prepared your dessert in the finals with the intent to win? That goes without saying. According to what Mr. Shields told us earlier, the evaluation of Mr. Gustavia's entry was... Up until the semi-finals, Mr. Gustavia's flavors and design were to my liking. Unfortunately, both the taste and appearance of his finals entry left much to be desired. Ah yes, he did say that. He wasn't so impressed with his entry in the finals. It seems the dessert you made for the finals wasn't rated highly in regards to flavor. Mr. Gustavia, you'll tell us about how you made your dessert during the finals. Very well. Seems I must teach you upstarts a lesson. Sir Dover and I cooperated until the finals. I handled the flavor, he was in charge of the design. However, for the finals, I wanted to challenge Sir Master with my own skills. I helped Sir Dover make his entry, but I made mine completely on my own. If the flavor of my entry wasn't good enough, my own lack of training was to blame. How about that, Sir Prosecutor? This is the truth of 18 years ago. I can't find any contradictions in his testimony. Well, of course he isn't going to fess up that easily. This guy's been on the run for 18 years, after all. Guess we'll just have to keep on pressing him until he breaks, huh? Yes. So you helped Mr. Dover with his dessert, but made yours all by yourself. No matter how you look at it, this seems odd. Why did Mr. Dover assist you? It matters not how it seems, it's the truth. I do not know what Mr. Dover was thinking. It's hard to prove someone's lying about something that happened 18 years ago. Hey Kate, does your secret weapon also work as a lie detector?
If it did, I'd have already stolen Mr. Edgeworth's spotlight. There's no need for that. I'll expose this man's lies myself. Dane Gustavia, please continue with your testimony. The flavor of my entry wasn't good enough. My own lack of training was to blame.
Hold it!
Up until the finals, I heard you received high praise for the flavor of your desserts. Was there some sort of accident during the finals? Nothing of the sort. I simply was unable to taste my work due to my taste disorder. My intuition must have been off, that's all. Then, was your intuition fine while making Mr. Dover's entry? How could there be such a huge difference between the finals and the previous day? Yeah. We're not getting anywhere at this rate. Should I change the topic? Let's ask more about the semifinals. So, you're sure there wasn't anything different between the semifinals and the finals? Yes, that's right. Aside from not cooperating with Sir Dover, the finals weren't much different from the semifinals.
Hold it!
So, you were still able to make your desserts without Mr. Dover's assistance? I may have lacked design sense, but I was confident in the flavor. Apart from the design, there were no major differences between my finals and the semi-finals entries. Huh. That sure is strange. That's not how Uncle Ray remembers it. I'm pretty sure both the look and taste of your finals desserts scored poorly. Then there's no way he would have won the contest. Even the flavor, which he was so confident about, failed to materialize during the finals. Something must have changed besides Mr. Dover's cooperation. But what? All those unanswered questions 18 years ago. I should already have the keys I need to unravel them. Okay. Wait a sec. There was... let me see. What didn't... Where would we... Was it... Yeah! That's... Gustavia's son always came to visit, but he didn't come on the day of the finals. Was he helping? Was he helping his dad with the entries? There was another difference between the semifinals and the finals. This photo depicts your son. We know he came to visit you up until the finals. Yeah, that is correct. What does that have to do with anything? Your son, who always came to see you through the semifinals, was not present for the finals. And then, it was only in the finals that your flavor judged poorly. I don't believe this to be mere coincidence. Your son's visits must have been very important to you, were they not? Yes. Okay. I think we'll break one more time here, and hopefully, we'll continue in a few minutes.
Alright. So we're starting to learn a little bit more about Gustavia's motives here. He had some kind of severe taste disorder, and he wanted the angel's recipe as a means of curing that. Was he willing to kill his own partner, no less, to get his hands on it, though? That, I guess, we're gonna see. Apparently it sounds like his son has been helping him up until the finals, in which case his entry did very poorly. Your son's visits must have been very important to you, were they not? A father can work miracles when his son is watching. With my son cheering me on, I was able to make the most delicious desserts. Mr. Gustavia sure sounds like a good father, doesn't he? If what he's saying is the whole truth, one could say so. But just hearing his son's cheers wouldn't be enough to change the taste of his desserts. A confectioner confident in his sense of taste develops a taste disorder. It would have been difficult for him to maintain the taste of his desserts. Your son came to cheer you on. Was that really all he did? You seem very doubtful, Sir Prosecutor. In that case, I'll turn this around and ask you. What else could my elementary school son have done besides cheer me on? He tasted them for you. I'm sure your elementary school son would have remembered the taste of your desserts. Of course, my son always loved my desserts. In that case, he would have been able to taste test your desserts in your place. What did you say? Earlier, you told us that you have a taste disorder. I've never told this to anyone. Well done. As you say, I developed a taste disorder 18 years ago. No one else knew about your taste disorder. If Mr. Dover found out, he would have ended your partnership. Is that what happened? After all, you were in charge of the flavor. Your son didn't just cheer you on. He also helped you determine if your desserts tasted correct. I see. Mr. Dover's dessert was made the day before, so it still tasted good. What you are saying is quite amusing, Sir Prosecutor. You say that my elementary school son assisted me as a taste tester. You are insulting my pride. Your pride? It's true, I had no sense of design 18 years ago. However, I won't lose to anyone when it comes to flavor. You claim I would cast aside my pride and rely on my son. Don't get carried away with your foolish conjecture, you upstart. Excuse me? In that case, I'm sure your son can confirm if my theory is mere conjecture. Unfortunately for you, I no longer have a son. Oh no, did he... What? Oh no. After my taste disorder was cured, I went to train in Zhengfa immediately. During that time, I severed all ties with my son. What the shit, man? What? Don't tell me. You would even abandon your own son?
That's not all. Even today, the whereabouts of his son are still unknown. The police have been searching, but they haven't been able to find any traces of him. You wish to confirm your theory? I welcome you to try. Desserts are the only things that are important to me. Okay, maybe this guy is coming to be pretty cold-blooded. After regaining my sense of taste, my son no longer mattered. Wow, fuck this guy. Order in the court. Mr. Gustavia's actions are certainly inhumane. However, we are not here to judge whether or not he's a good father. Prosecutor Edgeworth, I believe this is your loss. After all, there is no evidence left from 18 years ago that could prove your theories. Ugh. Mr. Edgeworth, is there nothing we can do? At this rate, we'll never find out the truth. Detective Gumshoe, where are those results? I wonder whose blood it could have been. I asked forensics to look into it, sir. Right, I leave it to you, Detective. Yeah, again, we assumed it was Dover's, but... I trusted Detective Gumshoe with the last piece of evidence. If they find Gustavia's blood, then we can nail his ass. If only I knew who that blood belonged to. Miles, there's still one thing that's bothering Uncle Ray. Was Mr. Gustavia's only reason for coming to the art gallery to check on the body? If he only wanted to confirm the body's presence, he wouldn't have needed to open the case. That's right. Is there a way we can prove this? There is one way. We just need that evidence from Detective Gumshoe. Prosecutor Edgeworth, what are you talking about? Mr. Edgeworth, sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Alright, Dick. Let's go. Just the person I was talking about. Detective Gumshoe, I trust you have the test results. Of course, sir. I just got the report back from the lab. Detective, please be silent. So, this is the evidence that Prosecutor Edgeworth was talking about. Huh? Hey, what's this? This is the first I've heard of it. Huh? This was a request from me. I asked him to investigate a certain piece of evidence. Why is everyone always helping you out? Because Edgy is awesome and you suck? I'm the one in charge of the crime scene. Mr. DeBest, I apologize for taking matters into my own hands, but how about we hear this report first? Sure. Detective Gumshoe, what were the results? Here's the report, sir. The traces of blood found in the Gemini sculpture belong to the victim of the poison gas, Dane Gustavia. There we go. What are you saying? Good work, Detective Gumshoe. So, as I thought, my theory was correct. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? We too would like an explanation. What on earth does this blood prove? This blood is something the culprit of the IS-7 incident tried to conceal. It can't be. That's... This blood was found inside the glass case of the Gemini sculpture. In other words, your blood was found alongside Mr. Dover's body. Ugh! Ugh! Why would Mr. Gustavia's blood be in a place like that? If Dover fought back and wounded him in the process. If you intend to remain silent, then I'll reveal the truth myself. In the Gemini case, aside from the blood, were also found traces of salt and sugar. Salt and blood, and only one of Mr. Dover's sherbet desserts tasted salty. The Lear. Come to think of it, I remember Miss Delicious saying the same thing 18 years ago.
Oh, yesy, his sherbet was most delicious.
Really? I wish I could have eaten some too.
But there was one piece that was so salty I couldn't eat it.
Salty?
It's right here in this photo. It's part of that Lear.
That's the Lear from the Gemini constellation. Exactly. For some reason, salt had been mixed into the Lear. No other traces of salt were found in Dover's room. In that case, please explain. Where did the salt detected in the Lear come from? Oh. The murder weapon? The salt lamp?
Take that!
This is the rock salt lamp used as the murder weapon in the IS-7 incident. I believe part of this rock salt lamp was mixed in with the sherbet from the lyre. At the time of the murder, there were 2 rock salt lamps in Mr. Master's room. One of those lamps took Mr. Dover's life. Oh, right, because Masters had confiscated the lamps after he discovered that Delicia was cheating. We knew that Mr. Dover's blood was left behind on the murderous lamp. However, there were no traces of anyone's blood found at the crime scene, Mr. Master's room. Because the killer disposed all the desserts with traces of blood into the streams of water, right? No other traces of salt were found in Mr. Dover's room. Speaking of which, weren't the 2 rock salt lamps found in Ms. Delicious's room also broken? Looks like both the lamps and the pillars are broken. Both their light bulbs are broken. Maybe they were dropped on the floor. We never did figure out why the other rock salt lamp was broken. Maybe Mr. Gustavia's blood was on the other lamp. If If your blood was found on the lamps at the crime scene, you would have been suspected. As the culprit, you would have needed to conceal all traces of your blood from the police. Don't tell me he concealed it in the sherbet leer. Exactly. So he broke the lamp, broke off the part of the salt that had his blood, and hid it in the leer. The rock salt lamp and his blood were mixed into the sherbet leer and hidden inside the glass case. Unlike the fountain's water, the sherbet desserts would not be analyzed right away. Perhaps he planned to dispose of the sherbet when the opportunity presented itself. Then, the reason Mr. Gustavia came to this gallery was to dispose of that evidence. 18 years ago, the body and the evidence pointing to the killer were both stolen. Even the killer couldn't have anticipated that. I see, so Katie inadvertently foiled his whole plan. There was no way of knowing when the body and the evidence would be discovered. So he planned to destroy the evidence before the Zodiac Art Gallery's grand opening. Dane Gustavia, isn't it about time you confessed? You are the true culprit of the IS-7 incident. Monsieur Gustavia, you're the reason Monsieur Master is... Mr. Gustavia? Could it be? After all this time, my crime is finally brought to light. The prosecutors and defense attorneys 18 years ago never even came close. Bravo! Bravo! Well done, Sir Prosecutor! So you admit that you killed Mr. Dover? It is true. I killed Isaac Dover. But he had only himself to blame. What do you mean? Dover and I worked together in order to win the contest. No matter who won, we agreed that we would share the Angel's recipe. But, on the day of the finals, he stabbed me in the back. Sir Dover, this isn't what we agreed to. I'm sorry, Gustavia, the deal is off. What? But I made your desserts for you. I'm the reason you got this far. And what of it? Can you prove that you assisted me in any way? Dover, you were planning to betray me all along! Because of Dover's treachery, I was forced to make my finals entry on my own. It's just as Sir Prosecutor said. My son assisted me every day until the finals. What about your pride as a confectionery artist? A proud chef loses the ability to taste his own creations. That's a feeling an upstart like you would never understand. Mastering the art of dessert making is my reason for being. It is my one and only pride. Committing murder for the sake of pride? That's another feeling I'll never understand. Ooh. To say nothing of abandoning your own son. Such a thought disgusts me. Before you judge me, first understand what happened 18 years ago. On the day of the finals, my son never came to assist me. Thinking back on it now, I suppose Dover had a hand at that as well. What exactly happened to your son? I do not know. But it no longer matters. Ever since that day, my son meant nothing to me. From what I hear, he's still missing. I wonder if that's gonna come up again at some point.
That's awful. Giving up on him like that.
Without your son, you had no chance of winning, correct? Yes. And since I was guaranteed to lose, I needed a failsafe. During the afternoon tea time, I made my way to Sir Master's room. I just needed to take a photo of the cure to my taste disorder. It would have all worked out. If only Dover hadn't interfered. Ah, Gustavia. Trying to steal a picture of my prize, are you? That hardly seems sporting. You. Cure for taste disorders? You have a taste disorder, don't you? Oh, this is rich. A pastry chef who can't taste? Dover, you... Ah! Puny worm. You're in no position to oppose me. Why, you... When I attempted to hit Dover, he struck me and sent me flying. I crashed into one of the rock salt lamps, and that was my blood stained on it. So Mr. Dover wasn't the first one to be injured. To conceal my blood, I shaved away part of the rock salt lamp and mixed it into the sherbet. After that, it became a part of the Lear sculpture. So, that's how you tried to erase your traces from the crime scene. Dover tried to blackmail me by using his knowledge of my taste disorder. If I didn't want it to become public, I was to pay him a large sum. So, that's the reason you killed Isaac Dover. Exactly. What reason do I have to let those who obstruct me live? He was the one who drew first blood. I simply gave him his just desserts. Pun intended. So that was his motive. I carried the rock salt lamp that bore my blood into Dover's room. Then I came up with a hiding place where it would not be easily found. I get it, that room contained plenty of tools for sculpting sherbet. Your deduction is spot on, Sir Attorney. It was the ideal place to shave away the rock salt. I then proceeded to coat the surface of the sherbet Lear with vast amounts of the salty mixture. But why? Why did you try to pin the crime on Monsieur Master? You were wrong to blame me for that, Lady Catherine. If not for your unnecessary meddling, Sir Master would never have been a suspect. Why do you think I hid the murder weapon and fluorescent cloth in Lady Delicia's room? There's only one reason why you'd place a murder weapon in someone else's room. You wanted to pin the crime on Delicia.
Me?
Yes, that is correct.
Gusty, why? Why me?
As one who sought to be the world's best confectioner, I greatly respected Sir Master. It was never my intention to cast suspicion on him. But an insolent woman who dared to sully the contest with fake desserts. I had no problem letting someone like you take the blame for the crime.
That makes me sad.
If you hadn't snacked on other people's desserts, the body would never have been found. It was when Sir Master would be judging Lady Delicia's room. That's when I finally saw an opportunity to freeze the body, but before I could move the body, Lady Catherine had already discovered it.
What? Why did you need to freeze Monsieur Dover's body?
Why indeed?
Monsieur Edgeworth, please tell us. Why would Monsieur Gustavia have needed to freeze the body? Disguise it as an...
Maybe to... Mr. Gustavia intended to freeze the body in order to throw off the time of death. If the time of death had coincided with the tea party, Mr. Gustavia would have been suspected, exactly. Yep. Because they were the only two people unaccounted for at that time. That is correct. Preparations were necessary to freeze the body. While I was preparing in Dover's room, I placed the body in the treasure chest in Sir Master's room. I could think of no better hiding place at the time. But thanks to that gluttonous pharmacist, the lid of the chest broke.
But why did you disguise him as an ice sculpture?
Once the body was discovered, there would be no time to throw off the time of death. To buy time, you needed to hide it someplace else.
How horrid. How can you hide Monsieur Dover's body within one of his own works?
It all would have worked out if the body hadn't been discovered while it was in Sir Master's room. If everything had gone according to plan, Sir Master would never have been arrested.
So because I discovered the body...
Oh, she gonna blame herself now.
It's my fault Monsieur Master was...
Kate, don't take his words to heart. Even if suspicion hadn't fallen on Mr. Master, Miss Delicious would have taken the fall. No matter who he targeted, the one at fault here is Mr. Gustavia himself. The detective in charge of the initial investigation was also a dunce. To think that he never reported the missing body to the prosecutor. Prosecutor Von Karma indicted Mr. Master without knowing the body had vanished?
I see.
That would explain why he looked so flustered at the crime scene. Although, it's something that would stand out if you read the official documents. Could someone have intentionally distorted the information? I thought Von Karma himself did that. At any rate, Von Karma found out about the missing body after he made his indictment. And if he let one person be acquitted, he'd have a stain on his much-prided perfect record. That's why he concealed the fact that the body was hidden, and had Mr. Master declared guilty.
What are you saying?
For 18 years, that man has taken the blame for your crimes. Don't you feel anything at all? I don't care what you say. What a monster! I'm arresting him right here, right now, sir! I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that will be impossible. So you figured it out. Oh, I think I know exactly what he's gonna pull out. That's correct. You have no right to sentence me.
What? But the culprit is standing right in front of us.
The statute of limitations, right?
Allow me to tell you the reason why you can't arrest me.
It's been 18 years since I murdered Dover. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years, is it not?
Okay, but I think I already know how we're gonna turn this around on him. In other words, it's impossible for you to arrest me. I only confessed my crime because the statute of limitations is expired.
The statute of limitations for murder is 15 years. Mr. Edgeworth, is there nothing we can do?
As long as the statute of limitations remains, arresting him is impossible. But nope. Okay, remember what it says, though. If the suspect flees to or lives in a foreign country, the time limit is on hold until the suspect returns. How long was he in Zhengfa for? Because that time, according to this, does not count. Does it say in his profile? No, it doesn't. We might have to draw it out of him in the cross-examination. No way! My sincere apologies, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Neither Mr. Gustavia's testimony nor your logic can be taken as official legal proof. The verdict of the trial 18 years ago cannot be overturned. What about the fact that Mr. Dover's body was hidden? Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gustavia, this should at least earn Mr. Master a retrial. Really, I wonder about that. Overturning a verdict of the Goddess of Law is much harder than you think. Is the PIC trying to justify the verdict from 18 years ago? How unfortunate, Sir Prosecutor. Is there nothing I can do? Is there no way to continue pursuing Mr. Gustavia? So you confessed because you knew the statute of limitations had already expired. Of course, who would confess otherwise? Well, I would have preferred to carry the truth of Dover's murder to my grave. Why is that? I'm now the world's best confectioner. I wouldn't want to have such a trifling matter affect my path as an artisan of desserts. So you let Mr. Master take the fall while you protected your own position. You alone I cannot forgive. My path is for me to decide. I don't need your forgiveness. Miles, it's been a long time since your Uncle Ray's been this angry. I feel the same way. I cannot allow this man to go unchecked. I can see how he was able to escape justice for 18 years. Isn't there some way we can catch him? Mr. Gustavi's an amateur at law, after all. He's no match for a real ace attorney. I'm sure there's some flaw in his plan that we can exploit. Amateur at law, huh? Wait a sec, there was also... Okay, Master was convicted as an accomplice. And it also mentioned... And what did this say about accomplices? If possible accomplices are on trial, the countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached. And I know they already said that was a full year.
matter how many years have passed, your sin will never fade. Sir Prosecutor, I'm sure you must have realized by now. There's no way you can arrest me. Arresting you would be a piece of cake for someone like Mr. Edgeworth. Isn't that right, sir? I don't think it will be that simple. It's impossible for you to arrest me.
Hold it!
It's possible that some of your actions 18 years ago were not affected by the statute. It's been so long, I've got nothing left to hide. Ask me anything you'd like. Very well. Can you explain to me what you did during those past 18 years? Certainly. After the contest, the medicine from the recipe book allowed me to fully cure my taste disorder. I then immediately headed to Zhengfa to train my design skills. So he wasn't seen ever since that case, because he was in a foreign country. Here we go. Here we go. Indeed, and I'm certain that I went abroad to train about 1 year after that case, right before Sir Master's final trial began. Okay, so for 1 year. Thanks to my training, I am now a confectioner unparalleled in both taste and design.
Objection!
You should not be proud of a position earned through the sacrifices of others. You cannot bake a cake without breaking a few eggs. Sacrifices were necessary for my goal. That's horrible. Say what you will. The fact still remains that you cannot arrest me. I have to get more information out of Mr. Gustavia. Is there anything of note in his recent testimony? Can you please add the details about your training in Zhengfa to your testimony? Certainly. Okay.
Objection!
One of the conditions regarding the statute of limitations for murder is as follows. If the suspect flees to a foreign country, the time limit is on hold until the suspect returns. So the statute of limitations was suspended while you were overseas. That's right, the statute of limitations stopped while you were training in Zhengfa. Indeed, it is possible that the statute of limitations has not expired yet. Mr. Gustavia, please tell us how long you stayed in Zhengfa. It would be exactly 3 years. Okay, so there we go. 3 years. Wait, let's calmly think this over. The case occurred 18 years ago. The statute of limitations is 15 years, and he was away for 3. 15 plus 3 is exactly 18 years, I'm sure of it. Bravo, Kay, you passed first grade arithmetic. Mr. Edgeworth, he did it! The statute of limitations hasn't expired yet. Exactly 18 years, you say. How amusing. So he realized... Why are you laughing? The statute of limitations still applies. Okay, it's frustrating, but... The case occurred in December. It's April now, which means... Strictly speaking, the case occurred 18 years and 4 months ago. Ugh. His stay abroad wasn't quite enough. We were just a few months short. Not enough? That's... Like I said, it's impossible for you to arrest me. He must have known all about this while he confessed to his crime. Prosecutor Edgeworth, it really is a shame. If it was just 1 year earlier, the statute of limitations would not have run out. Those who undermine the goddess of law's verdict must bear the burden of their crimes. It seems you were simply incapable. Ugh! This can't be the end. So, Monsieur Gustavia really is beyond the law's reach. Kate, what are you thinking?
Objection.
If you're thinking of taking matters into your own hands, I implore you to reconsider. There still might be a way to bring this man to justice. Alright, Ray. Let's hear it. What? Miles, remember the facts of the case 18 years ago. Just as you were mistaken earlier, it seems Mr. Gustavia has also overlooked one key detail. Overlooked? He wasn't present during Mr. Masters' final trial. So he doesn't know the outcome of the trial. Right, where he was convicted as an accomplice. And what did it say? Possible accomplices are on trial. The countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached. There may yet be a way for you to arrest him. Miles, look over that book on statute of limitations again. 17 years ago, Master was falsely declared guilty for a serious crime. Thanks to that verdict, we aren't out of ammunition just yet. Mr. Shields, you don't mean... Those who undermine the goddess of law's verdict must bear the burden of their crimes. I, Mr. Master's attorney, I can't use his suffering as a weapon in good conscience. For that reason, I leave the rest up to you. Okay, let me look at it one more time. Yeah. Yeah. Right there, accomplice to the murder. The trial my father and Von Karma battled over. Can I use that to arrest Mr. Gustavia? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Hell yeah, we'll raise an objection. Father and Von Karma. Their paths diverged. One revealed the truth, the other concealed it. The path that I choose is the one that reveals the truth. Alright. I see no further reason to prolong this trial. I hereby find Jade Gustavia not guilty.
Objection!
Overruled. There you go, Edgy. Gustavia will stand in court for his crimes. Do you mean to say you have found a way to arrest Mr. Gustavia? Exactly. I'll show Judge Courtney the evidence that will shatter the statute of limitations.
Take that!
The the IS-7 case file. Which page are you referring to? That would be the suspect data. The suspect data page. At the trial, Jeffrey Master was found guilty of being an accomplice to murder. And it took 1 year to arrive at this verdict. Right? That is indeed true. This book lists conditions in which a statute of limitations can be put on hold. The first, as I have said earlier, is if the suspect flees to a foreign country. But there's one more. If possible accomplices are on trial, the countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached. What are you saying? Sir Master was found to be an accomplice? That's right, That's right. Mr. Master was sentenced after you left for your trip to Zhengfa. And he was found guilty not of being the culprit, but of being an accomplice. But it seems you didn't know that. That's absurd! Sir Master never committed any crime to begin with. You should certainly know this! Of course we do. That's why we're going to free him. To that end, we will shatter the one remaining obstacle in our way. The statute of limitations. You fled to Zhengfa for 3 years. And Jeffrey Master is being tried as an accomplice for 1 year. Put it all together, we see that the total time limit for this case is 19 years. In other words, the statute of limitations is not over for you yet. Gah! The goddess of law is unerring in her judgments. However, it seems that the prosecutor at the time was not. I cannot believe it, but it seems like the case will have to be reopened. This is absurd! You cannot arrest me! For the last 18 years, an innocent man has suffered greatly in your stead. Mr. Gustavia, it's now time for you to atone for your crimes. I had finally earned my place as the greatest confectioner in the world. To achieve that goal, I cast everything aside, even my own son. What a shame. You can't run from your crimes any longer. Oh god. Oh god. What? Holy shit. What? I'm going JoJo on this shit. Okay. Dane Gustavia's been taken into custody, sir. Yeah, so you're up next, right? Yes, I understand. Kate. Everyone, I'm truly sorry for all the trouble I've caused. And thank you very much for catching Monsieur Gustavia. What you did cannot be overlooked, even if the crimes you committed were in response to past injustice. As a prosecutor, I'm terribly sorry for what happened. No, I'm only getting what I deserve, since I was the cause of all this. Kate, will you have me as your attorney? I'm not quite the same useless kid I was 18 years ago. I won't let them find you guilty. Aww. Oh, Monsieur Shields. Yes, thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt, but it's time to go. Yes, alright. Judge Courtney? I can't help but feel that you've been dishonest with me. Dishonest? Whatever do you mean? You said that the verdict could not be overturned, but that was not the case. A reinvestigation and retrial were obviously required as soon as the missing body was found. I have no need to answer you. Seems she doesn't intend to ever give me an answer. Prosecutor Edgeworth, the PIC has you in its sights. They will receive a report on everything you did here today, and you will most likely be required to appear before them. Now then, I shall take my leave. Hold on, Mr. Edgeworth. Hold on, Mr. Edgeworth caught the real bad guy. Didn't he do his job as a prosecutor? No matter how things turn out, I will never regret what I did here today. Mr. Edgeworth. Yeah, Agnes. Hey, Prosecutor Edgeworth. What is it? Why are you always sticking your nose into cases you're not even involved with? My duty is to reveal the truth. Not only as a prosecutor, it's just who I am. I don't get it. And of course, with this, solving his late father's last case had to have definitely been cathartic. As long as you continue to think that being the best is all that matters, I doubt you ever will. Well, I don't get that either. I'm going home. Bye, Draco. What was that all about? There's much he still needs to learn.
Miley!
What is it?
I knew Greggy's son could do it. I think. I might be falling for you.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for helping Jeffy.
Well, Yo, Edgy, great job solving that case! Well, I was busy drawing, so I really didn't catch all of it. Of course not. Huh? Where'd Katie and Justy run off to?
Maurice, you really weren't paying it much attention at all, were you?
Well, I hate to admit it, but Larry's doodles actually helped us out a few times. I should say something nice to him. Don't glare at me like that, I'm sorry! It wasn't my intent to glare at you. That patented Edgeworth glare. You're just like your old man. Is that so? Well then, Uncle Ray's gonna go pay Mr. Master a visit. You guys want to tag along? I'd be happy to accompany you.
Oh, me too.
So, this Jeffrey Master, what's he like? Oh, he's a really nice and gentle guy. He's still doing his best to make people happy. He actually cooks desserts for the inmates. Nowadays, all the prisoners and guards look forward to snack time at 3 o'clock.
Wow, that's nice. I want to eat his desserts too.
So, the chocolate cake we saw in the prison the other day. Oh, that was his. He was the one who made it.
Oh, Gummy, why are you here?
I heard everyone was coming to visit, so I escorted Mr. Master myself. Hello, one and all. I'm Jeffrey Master. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, at your service.
And I'm Mr. Edgeworth's assistant, Kay Faraday.
It's a pleasure to meet you all. Mr. Master, Miles is your old defense attorney's son. You mean Mr. Gregory's? Your father has done so much for me, and yet I betrayed his good faith when I made the false confession. I heard the details from Mr. Shields. Mr. Master, I came here today to tell you everything we've learned about 18 years ago. 18 years ago. Kate committed a crime for my sake? Why would she do such a thing? Miss Hall has been trying to prove your innocence for the past 18 years. She was willing to do whatever it took to save you. Kate, she shouldn't have gone through so much trouble for an old man who let her down. Mr. Master, I don't think you realize just how much Miss Hall cares for you. I have something here that clearly proves the two of you share an unbreakable bond. An unbreakable bond? Proof of the bond between Jeffrey Master and Catherine Hall. This should give Mr. Master some peace of mind. Oh, the chocolates.
Take that!
These chocolates. Did Kate make them? She did.
They're really sweet and tasty.
She's been making these chocolates for the past 18 years. So that she could give them to you whenever you returned. Kate. Aww. I'm sure they're very, very sweet. Yes, they truly are. Unfortunately, I cannot give them to you now, but I can hand them over later in secret, pal. It is against the rules, but right now I don't have the authority to stop him. just like Bad did before. Thank you very much. Say, you remind me of an old friend. Do you know of a Detective Bad? Yep, there we go. Of course I do. Detective Bad is my #1 role model, pal. How uncanny. Talk about fate. Mr. Master. It's looking like we'll be able to get you out soon. I can only apologize that it took 18 years to do so. Raymond, I'm the one who should be apologizing. No, that's not it. What I really should be saying is, thank you. Mr. Master. Now it's my turn to wait for Kate. I'll make her favorite sweets every day until she returns. Please, look after her, Raymond. You got it. The IS-7 incident, the case I inherited from my father, after 18 long years, is finally coming to a close. Miles, thanks for today. Sorry for leaving that final decision to you. No, I made that decision of my own free will. Huh? What are you talking about? To arrest Gustavia, we had no choice but to use Mr. Master's false charge. To use Mr. Master's false charge, which I was originally supposed to protect him from, the attorney inside of me
simply couldn't do it.
So that's how it was.
But after this, Uncle Ray is going to try to clear away that false charge as well. Yes, I understand.
What? But if they find out about the false charge, they won't be able to arrest Mr. Gustavia, right?
That's true. It sure is a contradiction in the law. The way the law is right now, it isn't always completely right. A contradiction in the law? Well, who knows what'll happen. The law evolves and grows, just like all of us do. Just like Uncle Ray and Miles have grown up, you know? People and the law both grow. Miles, to fight crime as a prosecutor, or to save people as a defense attorney, I want you to think carefully about how you want to live your life from now on. I will. Well, if you ask Uncle Ray, you'll always be welcome down at the office. Alrighty then, looks like it's time for Uncle Ray to get going. Next time I see you, I'll be sure to thank you again. Really though, thanks for today. Mr. Shield seemed to be in a bit of a hurry. Indeed. I should be the one thanking him. I was able to face my father's last case because of him. When I was young, I wanted to become a great defense attorney like my father. However, under Prosecutor Von Karma, I learned the ways of a prosecutor. Thanks to a certain friend, I was able to discover my own path in life. However, right now, there are forces trying to take me off the prosecutor's path. Maybe now is the perfect time to think about how I should live my life. Edgeworth Law Offices. Gregory? I'm sorry that it took so long. It may have taken 18 years, but finally, we've proven Mr. Master's innocence. Miles, your son, helped me with that. The way he fought for the truth, he was just like you, Gregory. Aww. I'm still not the kind of attorney you were. But I will forever carry on the convictions I inherited from you. And if I can... Aw, the selfie they took in the... together with him. Aw. To fight crime as a prosecutor, or to save people as a defense attorney, the path I choose is... Aw, man, that was so good. As I said before, why did this not get an official localization? This development arc for Edgeworth has been amazing so far.
Alright, though. I guess I'm gonna call it here, then. And, tomorrow, we will be back with, Mega Monday. And, just a couple of days ago was, um, the 34th anniversary of the Mega Man series, which I've already done Mega Man 1 a few times, but I think one thing I want to do tomorrow is going to do Mega Man 8, because that was released on the first anniversary of, or first anniversary, God, no, 10th anniversary of the initial series. So that will be one thing. I don't know what else I'm gonna do, but we'll have to see. Um, right now I see that Coolio is streaming, so I'm gonna go ahead and raid him. So with that, have a good night, everyone, and I will see you all later.
Is it still playing?